So check it out. This is a behind the scenes of the song podcast, and I recently just dropped a new album called Slight Detour, and it's more or less just a means that the spark within myself creatively, and just a guy who's been doing this rap shit for a long time. I don't let a lot of things discourage me nowadays, especially things that I have goals for. So being goal oriented just kind of makes me press even harder. You have a lot of cats that'll have their spirit broken within the first downturn of events, the first hint of falderall, calamity, drama, what have you. And I've been never one to let any of that bullshit get me down. For what? You know? Who? Why should I stop rapping? To appease you? Who did not agree with what I had going on? So anybody who is an artist, especially if you are an older artist, I will advise you, like I tell my friends, cats I consider my brothers, women I consider my sisters, my associates, my collaborators, my creative partners, people I share ideas with, my war room, what else? My, my writing team, writers team, even though, let's just keep it funky 100, I write all my stuff. But when I say writers team, I mean just when we're putting together something outside of this hip-hop shit, because, I do have goals in my life. I'm trying to put together a movie, and I'll tell everybody who wants to listen to me that I am going to do it. I mean, at least I'm going to attempt. I'm going to take some steps. But get back to what I'm saying is, don't let no one shame you out of being creative. Being a creative is sometimes the last beacon of ourselves, as I believe, when we are no longer youthful, no longer as strong or as good looking, as, especially if you're an athlete. When you don't have those things, when those things fade away, among other things, I can't think of them right now, the creativity is something that stays intact and holds true to the essence of you. And so I'll just tell you, I'm not begging no one, but don't let no one shame you out of being creative, out of being an artist. Don't let any of these pedestrian people who gave up on their own hopes and dreams, or didn't even have them, tell you like, oh, well, you shouldn't do that. No, do what you want. Be a creative. Always create. You don't have to be the best. I've seen some people who create things that are not good, not to me, but it's not my place to tell them that they suck. They suck to me, but I also got to put myself in a lens or in a perspective that I am just in a different perspective that they haven't reached yet or will not reach. So aside from that, this is behind the Song podcast. So speaking of, I did have last week I dropped an album called Slight Detour, which was basically that. I had to take a slight detour from my creative process because I am really with the label that I'm running right now, and it's still in its infancy. I got my tax ID, and I'm just really just connecting all my other ventures together to be like a mogul, but I'm not, but yeah, I'll say I'm mogulizing myself. But yeah, no, I'm just really just putting some real paperwork up on my creative endeavors, just so when I monetize it, it kind of can work in my favor. Because everything that you leave out in the world, and that's another thing too, put out your work, man. Don't just sit on that shit. Fuck the vault. Prince had the vault, but Prince had every intention of putting music out. Don't be selfish with your art because you don't think it's good enough. Just because I think it sucks. But it's not my place to tell you that your shit sucks. Some people don't like my stuff. But a lot of times they say they don't like my stuff because they don't like me, which is a whole other different episode, which is totally some weirdo shit, which I'm not even going to care to even get into. They don't get no light from me. But I had to take this slight detour, and that was basically the basis of the first song called Slight Detour. That first song basically said that, just because my flash drive gets corrupted because I overloaded it with shit or whatever, doesn't mean that I'm going to throw in no towel. I don't throw in towels. I don't tap out. You either got to knock me out or the ref stops it. So I keep pressing forward and I keep going for mine because that's what we do. Ain't no hoes in this shit. But yeah, so the song's really about taking a slight detour, and Saba Sun presses on just because I lose a chunk of data and I had to get it extracted, and I'm currently in the process of digging that shit all back out. Frustrating. Yes, it is, if you ask the question. Time consuming. Yes, and yes again. But writing the whole album, 9 tracks, so it's like an EP. But the whole album, I did it over a weekend just because I was just like, man, I can't have too much silence. I gotta drop something, and I'm not beholden to no label master. I am the label, with my collaborators, with other cats that I do music with, frequent collaborators. Not that I depend on them, but I wouldn't say that they are my artists. They are their own artists, and if I always tell them they're free to do their thing, and I want them to do their thing. We're kind of like a network, curated artist collective of MCs / producers, and we're gonna grow it. We'll probably get some DJs and some more graphic artists, and for at this stage we are looking for street team members, digital street team members who will post our shit and kind of put videos out when we put them out to kind of help purvey the land a little bit more than whatever. And I just got to figure out some type of incentive for them. Cash is always good, but for the task, for it to be cash, there's got to be some other things put into that. But yeah, for the most part, digital street team members, DJs, and I've been out here just looking out for some college radio spots. But the song Slight Detour is basically like my tour de force is saying, like, I press forward, even go back to that. It's done over a beat that produced by Monplacebo down there in South Florida, who is an excellent producer. Also has his podcast, Speak Your Clout. He reviews classic hip-hop albums, and he has a vast CD collection of hip-hop, 90s hip-hop, 80s hip-hop, and a really good dude, and definitely proud to do music with that guy, because everything we've done has been bangers. And if you like my music and you know Monplacebo, you've heard Monplacebo, especially if you've heard my music in the last 3 years. Monplacebo has greatly contributed to what I've done, and can't thank that man enough, along with the other cats that are on this album. Also on this album is DJ Camo produced something, a British producer. I want to say he's from London, but London is just your go-to. He's probably not from London, but his name is Kilgrave, a really dope producer. Has a nice vaporwave texture to his music, but not quite vaporwave. It's not quite lo-fi, not quite vaporwave, but it's got that feel. You know what I'm saying? It's got that Akira anime feel to it. I produced some tracks. One I used I'll bleep it out, Sun Ra sample, and the other one was from one of my other weapons, which I'll tell you later on. That'll probably be another episode about expressing my love for said website. And if you know, you know. It's a mini podcast. We're 11 minutes in. So, yeah, man, I just kind of really wanted to get it in. And I didn't have no vocal features on it, even though I like to have features on my stuff. It kind of gives the listener, in my opinion, a variety in their ear, just like production. My sound is my sound, and I'll probably change it up at some point whenever I decide I want to buy some new gear. But until then, you'll just have the sound that you'll have from me, and you'll have the sampling that you expect me to have, which is, I do prefer a lot of jazzy stuff, just because I am a product of the 90s, and they used a lot of jazz, so I use jazz, and I am a appreciator of jazz. So, why hate on that? I'm also going to make this maybe like a multi-part podcast, so I'm just going to cover each of my albums, and then in my group chat, I told everybody that I was doing this, so within the group chat, I said, well, if you guys think this would be a good idea, hit me up, and we can find some way to do discussions and record this shit down and talk about songs together, and it won't just be about me. Or you guys can even clip stuff in talking about the song from your side, and then we'll just add it in, because it's just like a stream of consciousness podcast or whatever. But yeah, actually, if you give me a quick moment, I will go through the tracks, and then just whatever. And then at the end, I'm gonna tack the actual song to the explanation of things that I have going on, so you guys can have a little bit of music to enjoy, and it won't just be all me just yapping my fucking mouth, talking shit. But a little bit about me. If you don't know, I go by Oktane. I go by Master Sunwise. I go by many names in the arena of hip-hop. I am a painter, visual artist. Started making my way into 3D sculpture, pottery, stuff like that. Make my ways into the arena of professional wrestling. Wrestled in the indies for some 18 years. like I said, maybe for another podcast, but this is what I'm doing right now for myself. This is the Oktane Saba Sun quick minutes. I'll do that. The Saba Sun minutes. Because I'm not going a whole marathon hour. I might, but I'm not. So, there you go. I've spitballed long enough. And I will quickly give you a rundown of what's to come. So, as far as, I guess, this season, and I'll try my best to be consistent, to actually talk about the music in greater detail. Just like, not so much a slight detour, but Slight Detour is great detail. But it's basically a song about the album as to why I made the album. But not really, but really. So yeah, we're going to cover Random Lost Case Study, Hustler's Poetry, Clean Getaway, Random Lost Access Case Study 2, Just Speaking to Y'all, Land Masses, Random Lost Case Studies 3 in another form. And I'll probably cover them day by day and then release them. Maybe YouTube. That's where I most likely want to drop them, but I will probably make these reels because they are in short form and I think they would be great for the social media. So, aside from that, good talking to you people, to those who are the fan of the Saba Sun Collective, and appreciate everybody who are fans of the whole. So I will send a special shout out to the members of Saba Sun, just to get it down. One shout out to my longtime friend, like my brother. I mean, about as close to me as anyone could get. Shout out to the Grizzly Savage. Shout out to the man who, shout out to the Grizzly Savage because he's the man that, I've been in a group with, Diabolical Hideaway. Myself, sometimes his brother's in the group whenever he's feeling up to it. We have another cat named Blade Brown who's with us, who is a friend of Grizzly Savage, who raps with us sometimes. And there's another generation that may come up behind that, but so that's the crew, the local crew. Shout out to the man who helped me put together Saba Sun initially, the War God, the God Allah born supreme. In the rap world, they call him A-Preem. The abbot, sort of say, of the seven-headed dragon, the mastermind behind Seven-Headed Dragon. We are working on our third album, Unleash the Kraken, currently. Just like we're going back to Diabolical Hideaway, we are getting ready to drop our album very soon, very close to the edge of finishing Worldwide Chaos. Should be done, sooner than you think. Shout out to the man known as Tony the Goon, aka the original Mr. Blue, member of the Foundation, which I am a member of. I have the hat and the shirt to prove it. Can't tell me different. Shout out to the new 9-3, young cat making his way up in this rap world. He showed up with business, stood on business, and gets better every time I hear him on the mic. Every time I hear him, he comes out with a new fire verse. Shout out to my brother, coming out with a new album, that Riggs and Murtaugh. Shout out to MC Gravity, who is doing not only his thing on the mic out there further east in Jacksonville, and does it every week, does big shows. He's the mailman. He's the mailman of this rap shit. Gets on the mic, host, does shows, does songs. Pretty much locked into the historical culture of Florida. And we're getting ready to drop a EP, The Righteous Weapon. Shout out to my brother Atreyu. The 850 FM, something that we kind of put together, and Trey's very nice on the mic. Just kind of imagine Eminem, but Mexican, and likes to pick doper beats. No dispersion on Eminem, you know, he does his thing. Shout out to that brother. Shout out to my brother Showtime, also another brother that I've shared the ring with for a good 18 years, and he's dope on the mic. I've seen that man get on the mic and turn a crowd when the crowd decided they were out of the performance from another MC. I seen him turn a whole crowd around after they thought they was gonna, they thought they saw the main event. He came back and showed them why he's the main event as well. So hell of a performer in more ways than one, in ring and on stage. Shout out to my brother Born Fifth of the Black and Tan. Excellent producer, excellent MC out west in the Inland Empire. We're working on projects. We dropped 2 projects already, back-to-back Black and Tan projects, and we're working on another one, Paragon, with the brother Prev Marco. We're Saba Sun. We're doing our thing, and we are the Saba Sun's crew, which means 7 Sun, and we are out here trying to make a conquest. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to take over. We're trying to create ripples in the pond. We're trying to create waves in the pond, and that's awesome. Also, man, I want to send a shout out to the brother Corey Chavis, one half of the illustrious. If you're a hip hop fan, you like him. He's dope. But if you're a wrestling fan, World Tag Team Champions for the NWA, World Tag Team Champions for ROH, with one John Davis, Dark City Fight Club, but Corey, he used to be called Corey the Butcher, but he's Corey Chavis, and Corey Chavis is nice on that mic, super sick. Shout out to the brother Guillotine, one of the sharpest. That first 7-headed dragon, there have been reports of cats coming back to me saying that the Guillotine's verse was the coldest verse on 13th Floor on that whole album. You know what I'm saying? It's not that it's not like a downplay on me or the God, but cats love that. They love that verse. That verse was fire. The voice and the whole design of everything that came in that song on that beat produced by my brother Apreen came with like just a well-timed, delivered precision tomahawk strike with a nuclear warhead on it, and Guillotine brought that. So shout out to the brother Guillotine, and hopefully we get another Guillotine Regime album with Apreen, Monplacebo, and himself. The brother Guillotine. And I want to send a shout out to my brother Abno, Trey Point Fire. We still working on things, but the brother out there in the D doing his thing, putting down tracks, and he's nice on the mic, super nice on the mic. We call him Uncle Abno, Uncle Abby, aka Mr. 40, Mr. $40. Got one of the illest shoe collections in the chat whenever he's in the chat. Shout out to that brother. But yeah, man, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this shit up, man. We've gone for at least 25 minutes, and I kind of want to tack a song on the end of this thing. So, yeah, man. Enjoy Slight Detour. And, yeah, man, we're going to make some more things happen, man. I'll see y'all soon, all right? Peace. Pardon the absence, there's a breach in my data. Shoulda made me flip, made a brother matter. Some cats just quit, I just resalvaged it. Now it's pitting me in archaeology. At times I had the psychology to do so, but what I do know, move and press on. Beyond all the hate, situational setbacks. To those who left the sun, you went off track, never to be seen. The light won't hit ya, seeds no rest. The beef is your problem, I stood on business. Burned the weak and wicked, went for self, no crystals and mystics. No tarot cards in my time of crisis. Look self in the mirror, recognize the likeness. Chronicle of a scientist with the pen, I scribe this. Yeah, slight detour, we're nowhere for sure. Everywhere is present, take it all with no effort. Slight detour, nowhere for sure. Everywhere is present, take it all with no effort. On the quest to find useful land, move the earth with my hand to reflect my mind. I only leave the signs to better mankind, to better mankind. On the quest to find useful land, move the earth with my hand, just reflect my mind. I only leave better signs to better mankind, to better mankind. Treasures whenever when I sever material bangers in the ether. The miracle of speakers, enjoyment of life come forward. Through the mic device, educated God, understanding the self. So this slight detour is something I felt. So I proceed to show off the deep leagues, show you the troubled waters, the storms, the norms. Every day my disposition not so warm, nor you have been warmed. So we go left, see what remains in this southern living. Every single step is a destination, estimating that we making only history. So tell the truth, be ugly, raw, smooth. Everything said is out here, that's a jewel. The shit's a groove, I shall not lose. 30 years in this with the faster tools.